Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to another F1 Manager live stream. Tonight it is round 7 of our second season with HAAS and we head to Monaco. It's season that we are utterly dominating. It's incredible how much pace we have in the car, how good our driver lineup has been, how evenly matched they are, and we sit top of both championships by a comfortable margin. As you can see in the constructors championship, we currently have a huge lead over Ferrari, almost double their points. And then in the drivers championship, again you can see significant lead for both our drivers. Kevin Magnussen is just edging out Fernando with 4 victories to 2. Fernando has picked up an extra fastest lap over Kevin though, so he's on, I think, 4 to 2 in terms of fastest laps. Very, very close between the two, but Kevin does seem to just have that little edge, and has now won the last 2 races back to back. So it's going to be close. It's going to be tight. I think this is a circuit that if it's going to favour Fernando, it's probably going to be this one. So let's see what happens in tonight's episode. See whether or not Fernando can pull one back, or whether Kevin can keep this momentum going and make it 3 in a row. How you doing, Olivia? Good to see you. Let's take a quick look at where our car sits as we head into round 7. See if anyone's brought any upgrades. As you can see, we are still mighty fast. 3rd in top speed, 1st in everything but our brake cooling and engine cooling, where again we're in the top 7 for both. A very, very strong car indeed. In terms of raw numbers, let's take a look at Ferrari first of all. Ferrari themselves, as you can see, they're good in the low and medium speed, which is really going to suit them at this corner, at this circuit here. Not very good in the high speed, but it's not really an issue here. So Ferrari are going to be strong here. In terms of the actual numbers themselves, you can see the speed advantage isn't huge. It's 0.11 kilometers per hour, so not a massive amount, but it certainly adds up. But then you start looking at the G-forces; they're very close in the medium corner, in the low speed cornering, a little way off on the medium speed cornering, and then we see the high speed is a bit more significant. And then the same with the dirty air; the percentages pretty close in low and medium, significant in high speed. But again, this is Monaco, not going to be a lot of high speed in it. Let's take a quick look at Red Bull. So Red Bull are actually the fastest car in terms of outright top speed, and that is the only advantage they have over us. Everything else is a little to considerably lower than us. I mean, look at the percentages in terms of their cornering. Their low speed cornering is significantly lower than ours. That's where they sit in terms of ranking. Them being 12th in the low speed cornering, it's going to hurt them here. 9th in medium and high speed, it's not great. And we're going to take a look at Mercedes as well, because Mercedes traditionally are quite strong at low downforce corners. And there you can see, not the case anymore. Obviously, we have taken their aero guy from last season, Jared Murphy. He now sits in our aero department, and so Mercedes has kind of switched its focus towards high-speed downforce from the look of it there. They are now 3rd in the high-speed downforce, but trailing significantly in the low speed, a little bit like Red Bull. So not going to be a strong circuit for Mercedes this time, whereas normally they might be a bit more competitive here. We'll see how their car develops over the season. Let's see, what do we have in terms of upgrades coming? Nothing for this race, obviously, but we do have 2 new projects coming within the next fortnight. Is that going to be before the next race? It is. So we're going to get our new chassis on the day of Baku, and the day before that we'll get our new side pods. So 2 upgrades will be coming after this race for the next one. In terms of facility upgrades, you can see our team hub upgrade is a week away. Everything else is ticking over relatively nicely. The suspension upgrade still has a month to go. There's the potential for the CFD to get upgraded soon. That is a 12 million upgrade. You can see it's starting to edge towards the point where it's going to need a refurb or an upgrade. Our wind tunnel is a little bit more urgent, and that one is also a 12 mil upgrade, so that one will probably get done first. The design centre would be nice, but that's a long way off, and it's not really that urgent for us at this stage. So that's if we get lucky towards the end of the season. Maintaining what we have and not letting those dip is going to be a little bit more important, I think. Our race sim looks very, very good. We've just started the scouting department upgrade as well. That's got a couple of months to go. And operationally, we've got quite a few things here that are going to need some work on them, but these are all non-important areas. We're getting extremely good confidence from the board as it is, because we're winning so comfortably at the moment, so we don't need to worry about that. We don't need to boost our team attractiveness because we have got the staffing that and driver lineup that we need. We're unlikely to need to sign anybody anytime soon, so we can let that run down a little bit more. Same with the memorabilia. We don't need to worry about morale because, again, we're doing really, really well, so boosting the morale is not important at this stage. And the tour centre, while the weekly income is nice, you know, it's small amounts of money, and it would cost quite a bit to do a refurb. So what we'll probably do is when that gets down to 60, we'll just go ahead and do an upgrade at that point, but until then we'll leave that as it is. Right, let's set our performance targets for today's race. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be getting another 1-2 in terms of qualifying, looking at where our car sits and the circuit we're going to, and the level of our competition as well. So we are going to get both cars into Q2 and Q3. The incentive is to get both cars in the top 6. As I say, we want to try and get both cars 1 and 2 here. Finish position, again, the incentive, 2 cars to finish in the top 6. We're going to go for the fastest lap. Qualifying, the new streak that we have is 1 car in 8th place for 2 races. That's the incentive. That's auto-generated. There's not a lot we can do with that. It's not a particularly good streak to take on. It's not going to be worth much in the way of money, but we'll easily clear that. And then hopefully we'll get something a little bit more generous in a couple of races' time. And then our finish position streak, 2 in the top 4 for 5 races. We've done 3 so far, 2 more down, and we'll get something new on the board for that. So there we go, that's our target set. Let's head to Monaco for the race weekend.
Cars have been racing through Monaco's streets since 1929, and this weekend is no exception, as we get to watch the new generation of world-class drivers take over Monte Carlo. This is the Monaco Grand Prix. Monaco is famous for its many narrow twists and corners, from the brake-heavy Le Rascasse to the treacherous Sand of Ott. There are no proper straights to speak of, and it's extremely hard to overtake here. It sounds like simple advice, but getting up as high on that starting grid as possible is the best plan of attack. At this early stage in the season, there are still plenty of opportunities for things to change. In this sport, there simply are no guarantees. Stay right here, because we're just getting started.
So, once again, we have good weather for the race weekend. There's no threat of rain. We have clear skies for practice today, and then practice and quali, and the race itself will be partly cloudy. But again, we shouldn't see any sign of rain there. We're going to take Fernando out for this session because we took Kevin out last time to give Logan a run. let's take a look at car parts. So engine is at 45% and 47%. We are going to try and run these engines if we can in the race. But obviously we're going to definitely run them in quali. Switch to the worn gearboxes for practice. So yeah, we'll try running these engines in Q1, and we'll see how we're doing lap time wise after the first qualifying run. And if we are not as competitive as we need to be, then we will obviously put fresh engines in. But if we can get through this race using these engines, that'll be even better, because we'll then be able to save 70 laps of wear on brand new engines and bring them out for the first time in Baku next race. So we'll see where we sit after that first qualifying session in terms of pace and make a decision then. In terms of our run plan for today, we're going to go 20 laps. There we go. And now let's get these cars actually configured. So Monaco is a circuit where it's almost always maximum wings for both cars. I have got one setup which has a 9.5 on the front wing, but everything else I've got is a 10 and a 16. I've got a few different roll bar configurations. Let's try a 9.1 on this car. And we'll go with a 3.2 on the camber and a 0.5 on the on the toe. So that's this car. And then for Kevin's car, we will again go with a 10 and a 16. And we'll go with an 8.2 on this one. So let's go 8.2, 3.35 and a 0.7. Everything's still within the tolerances, so we'll try that setup there for this one, and off we go into free practice.
And radio check. Radio is good.
There we go. Right. So, update on safety cars, etc. and unlapping. I have now finally seen that in action. I was racing on my McLaren file that I started when the patch went live, and did Miami earlier today, and it was a wet race. And the safety car did come out about 2/3 of the way through the Grand Prix. Only 3 cars had been lapped at that point. And yeah, I watched them unlap themselves, which was kind of cool to see. The train formed up for the most part. There were a couple of stragglers that hadn't reached the back of the train, and then the 3 lapped cars, which was the 2 Williams and I'm trying to remember what the third car was. I think it was one of the I think it was Schumacher in the HAAS. Were allowed to unlap themselves, and so they did, and they drove off a little bit, and then the next lap the safety car came in, and obviously those cars hadn't caught up to the back of the train, but they were allowed to unlap themselves, which was pretty awesome to see. It's the first instance I've actually seen of that happening. This is definitely a circuit where we could well see some unlapping action, depending on tyres. Because this is a circuit where cars get lapped very quickly generally, so we could well see some unlapping action if cars come in for new tyres near the end of the race. Maybe they go hard to softs, and then at the end they're going to be very quick on a set of softs, and if we're on a set of HAAS to the end, then we might see someone trying to unlap themselves from us if we're just in a conserve mode. That'll be kind of cool to see. And of course, if we get a safety car, we should hopefully, which it's Monaco, it's a good chance of a safety car, then we should hopefully see some unlapping action there as well. So I did save a little 3-minute video of the thing, which I'll probably throw up on the channel at some point. Once I've tweaked the length of it a little bit. But yeah, hopefully we will actually get some live footage of the unlapping happening. Okay, we have 90% for Kevin on his first run. Just waiting for Logan to finish his feedback. 83, so we need a little bit of work. Let's call him in. Okay, so the roll bar is wrong, and so the braking's going to need to change as well. But we'll do the roll bar first. So we'll go to an 8.2. I only have a couple of 8.2s. We'll go to a 9.5. A 3.5 and a 1. I don't think that's going to work. So let's go instead to the setup that we put on Kevin's car. So that'll be a 10, 16, 8.2, a 3.35 and a 0.7. And that looks a little bit better. There's a tiny little tweak there on the oversteer. It's not enough of a change on the braking stability though, so that isn't going to work either. So let me try doing that instead. And let's see how that works. It might be that we actually have to go to a 7.3 on the roll bar. So let's... Actually, I do have a 7.3 we can try. Let's try and preempt that. So that would be my 7.3 roll bar setup. And that actually looks potentially pretty good. The only thing I'm a little unsure about is the traction. But we'll try that one. We'll see how that shakes out. So let's put on some fresh tyres. Even though we don't really need to. Get that car turned around. And there we go, send it back out. And Kevin is coming in now. Oh, again, we need to change the roll bar, and it can't be 9.1 because of where the thing is. So this is definitely going to be a 7.3 setup. So 10, 16, 7.3. Again, we're going to end up going to the same setup we've just put onto Logan's car. Not sure if that's going to work, but we'll try it. And once again, I'm going to take a quick look at the lap times between Logan and Kevin. Let's just slow it down a moment so I can see where they are. So Logan's got free traffic, free air. Kevin getting hassled a little bit by Vettel. And also we didn't change the tyres as well, which is why Sargent is a little bit quicker than Kevin. But if we take a look at overall lap time, you can see it's a little bit bigger in this Grand Prix. which makes sense, you know, given the nature of this circuit. It makes sense that the gap would be a little bit bigger between the two. So we're looking at a 0.3 of a second gap, nearly 0.4 of a second. That's not too bad. So given the nature of this particular circuit, I'm not too surprised to see the gap bigger here than it has been at others. It's a lot of braking, a lot of accelerating out of very slow corners, so you need to have good braking stats. Obviously you're going to need good cornering stats, you're going to need very good reactions, because of the tight nature of the circuit. Having what's the one, stop reactions, it's what's the other stat, the one that allows you to stay close to the racing line. That is a little bit lower on Logan's car as well, or Logan's profile. So yeah, it's definitely, this is a circuit that's definitely exposing his weaknesses compared to some of the others we've been at, but still looking good. Like I say, he's still got the rest of this season before we put him in the car to continue to mature and update his performance. And that was the right way to go with Logan's car. You can see there we get the 100% feedback. That's really good to see. Let's call him in. Fernando's going to be happy. He's going to have the car fully set up for him. What about Kevin? Did we get it right with Kevin as well? We did. So they are both running exactly the same setup here, and it's 100% for both of them. Excellent stuff. It's not very often that your drivers end up running identical setups. Okay, he's on his way in. Practice one is done. So Fernando is going to jump into the car. We're going to put him on some hard tyres and run him for the whole session. So we want 42 laps of fuel. Drop his pace. Kevin is going to run his set of hard tyres for 28 laps. And off we go into second practice.
Radio check. Radio is good.
Hopefully we're going to have a race free of drama, in terms of, or a race weekend free of drama. We don't want to be hitting the barriers. As soon as I say we want no drama, we have had a crash. It's not one of our guys, thankfully. We want to avoid pranging the car into the barrier if we can.
Here's the
Don't want
replay.
to break
Now,
wings
just watch the
unnecessarily, or
Mercedes here.
suspensions, or chassis, or rear
There's the
wings.
crash.
Bit of a hit there for Hamilton. Doing a Perez. I'm not actually sure what our current spare part situation is like. I mean, it's going to be good for the most part, but I have started to just generally adopt a blanket policy when I do upgrades to the car of only having one spare for certain parts. And this might be a circuit that could bite me in the backside for that policy, depending on how we go through practice and qualifying. Just getting a little bit more wear on Alonso's gearbox there. It's not a problem. It's already worn. This is purely a practice gearbox. Gasly looking competitive again in the Alpine. Again, it's practice. These times are a little unreliable, but he's on the same compound, or he was on the same compound of tyres as the Ferraris. He's just gone out on a new set of mediums. As Magnussen finishes his run, he's up to 71%. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Fernando is going to need to extend his stint by the look of this. So we'll have to make sure we cancel his call in and keep him on track to burn up some of that extra fuel. There we go, so let's cancel that, keep him out for the last 5 minutes. He's got enough fuel for a few more laps. And that'll just increase his track knowledge gain, so he doesn't have to run quite as long in the final session. And there we go. So once again, we can't read too much into the practice times because it's practice and we don't know what people were running in terms of fuel loads. Obviously we can see the tyre compounds. We don't know what they're running in terms of engine parts. But the Ferraris are looking pretty quick. If Leclerc is matching Sainz's pace on mediums against Sainz's softs, he's going to be quick. He's going to be very quick. Max... potentially going to be the third fastest, well, second fastest of the chasing drivers. A little bit of a gap to Hamilton's Mercedes. And yeah, then we're starting to see a bit of a gap to the rest of the cars as well. Obviously, we can't read too much into practice times. But interesting
After
to
a
see.
day of free practice yesterday, we wrap up with the third and final session before moving on to qualifying. While many eyes may be drifting ahead to the big race, the teams and their drivers will be fully focused on the task at hand here today. Those who make the most of the free practice sessions will head into qualifying knowing that they've given it their all and done everything in their power to cement themselves a good, strong position on the asphalt tomorrow. Hold on tight, because we're getting underway.
Okay, practice 3. We're going with medium tyres in this session. There we go. We're going to go with 32 laps of fuel for Fernando. And then again, if we need to, we can extend his stint by a few laps. And for Kevin, let's go with 26 laps. That should be more than enough. Have I done the pace on both? Yes. No, I haven't done it for Fernando. There we go. Oh, I've not done his fuel load either. I'm going to go 32 laps with Fernando. There we go. I didn't check the spare parts again. Let's have a quick look actually. What do we got? So I've got 2 spare front wings, 1 spare rear wing, no spare side pods. That's pretty much standard practice for me now, not to have spare side pods. It's so rare that they ever get damaged. Underfloor, I've only got 1 spare underfloor. And I can't check chassis or suspension because we can't change those during a race weekend. Okay, let's send out both cars. So once again, a nice drama-free session would be ideal for us here. We just want to get that track knowledge up. That's all we need to do. Plus we need them to run for just over half the session minimum to make sure that they get the full points for the session when it comes to experience at the end of the race weekend. We might need to extend Kevin's run by a lap or 2. Fernando, again, we may possibly need to extend that by a lap or 2 as well. I mean, technically we don't need to at all. Once we get these track knowledges up to 85%, that will give us the full 15 out of 15. So we should see that tick up to 15 once we hit 85% with Kevin here. There we go. Oh, it's actually ticked up with 83, 84%. So he's now at the full bonus for performance, but we do need him to run past the half-hour mark. And there we go, just before it ticked up to 84, that was Fernando getting his full bonus. Ooh, we have a crash on track. Who's crashed and where?
There's been a crash. Sounds like a single car. We can take a
Norris
look
at
now.
Sanderbot.
Watch this. We're looking at Lando Norris.
Oh, yeah, he's got away with that. All right, well let's go ahead and just call our guys in, save a little bit of wear on the engine. So now we can just let the clock run down, keep an eye on whether or not anyone else puts it in the wall. Hamilton way down the order right now, but again, it doesn't mean anything. And he's going out now. He's going out on soft, so we should get a slightly more competitive time from him now. And there we go, he jumps up to 5th, he goes a second faster. Ferrari's very, very close to each other. A little bit of a gap between the two Red Bulls. A little bit of a gap between the two Mercedes Ricciardo throwing in a fast time there. Alright, there we go, that's the end of practice, pretty much. So no real dramas at all for any teams in practice there. We got our stuff out the way very quickly and easily there. Just a couple of little spins for a couple of drivers. No one with any massive crashes, no one picking up any penalties for this race. So we head into qualifying. We're going to switch to gearboxes, but we're going to keep the engines for this session, and then it's, you know, based on where we place after one, you know, Q1 will determine whether or not we switch out these engines. Qualifying is going to be probably more crucial than ever, given the changes to DRS and dirty air performance. Slipstream has been increased. Or the power of the slipstream has been increased as well, but you know, with DRS not being as effective to overtake, it's going to make this circuit, I think, very tough to overtake at, even more than it has been. So a good qualifying position is going to be, you know, absolutely crucial tonight. So of all the tracks to race around, this is certainly one of the prettiest, and I would say probably the one that most closely resembles what it looks like in real life as well, in terms of the television broadcast. You do get some fantastic camera angles around this track. Right, we have got an Alpine that's going to get in the way. That's a bit frustrating, but we'll see if we can get past it quickly without too much drama. I think we're going to catch it coming out of the tunnel. Fernando is looking faster in this first run. Right, hopefully whoever this is gets out of the way quickly. He does. I think Alonso might have been slightly delayed there. I don't know if Kevin's going to catch him in time. He should be up to speed now, so I don't think he's going to move out of the way. He might move out of the way for Kevin. No, he doesn't. So Kevin ends up topping the lap, and whichever Alpine that is just got held up by us there. Alonso slightly slower than Magnussen, but with the traffic, may have affected the result there. It may have held up Alonso in the second sector, and certainly gave him a slipstream on the main straight in the third there. Alright, how fast is our pace going to be? A 1:10.6. Is that going to be good enough for us to keep these engines in the car, or are we going to need to swap them out? Well, it was Gasly. We're faster than Perez. Sainz on track right now. Starts his flying... Nope, that was his flying lap. A 1:10.4. That is faster than us, so I think we might have to switch engines.
We've had a crash. Let's see what
Oh,
happened
another
there.
Sandovot crash
Watch
from Norris.
this. We're looking at Lando Norris.
That's the same mistake he made in practice. So that's going to ruin his lap, might damage his car. And that could be him getting knocked out if he can't improve. Alright, let's see what everyone does with clear track. Leclerc might be getting held up here by Russell. He's still fast enough to go right up into the top three though, so it's not going to hold him up there. Yeah, we're going to need to change our engines. That's too much of a deficit. So let's swap those over. I did think this might be pushing it just a little bit too much. There we go, brand new engines for this race. We are going to go out and scrub tyres for this session. We should see a significant pace improvement with these brand new engines here. Evening, Colin. A little late to the party. Well, you've only missed practice. We're still in qualifying, so you haven't missed anything of the race yet. Okay, who's going to have the edge this time? Alonso fastest in the first sector again. We're going to have clear runs. Oh, Alonso spun and put it in the barrier.
Now just focus on the HAAS. That crash is terrible news for the team. The team are devastated.
Okay, well let's abort Alonso's lap. There's no point
what happened out there.
continuing that run.
We've just had a crash on the track.
What damage has he done to the car? Joe, chassis damage. We can't change that this session, so hopefully we can swap that for Q3. So let's put on a fresh set of tyres. .110.2, so that's a 0.3 of a second improvement for Kevin over the first run. Or was it 0.4? I think it was a 110.6, wasn't it? So we've improved by 0.4 of a second with that new engine. See, the cars no longer run through the casino on the mini-map. I hadn't checked that, actually. Oh, you're right. Yeah, they have fixed that. Good spot. I hadn't even thought about looking at that. So we're going to run Alonso at the end of the session. Okay, that's Alonso heading out. Hopefully he doesn't spin and put it in the wall again. That would be a disaster if he does. Having to burn through a set of brand new tyres, which is something I didn't really want to do, but you know, after we kind of stuffed that first run. I mean, we could possibly have tried to go through on the older tyres, but I didn't want to take that gamble. And there we go, a little bit of a deficit. We're actually slower in the first sector, and that's down to the chassis damage. So, if we go to car parts, we've got a brand new chassis on now, so we haven't got a spare. We've got a 2-week gap, so seeing as we can't fix the chassis or change the chassis during the race, there's no point me emergency manufacturing one unless we break another chassis in Q3. So we'll make 2 new chassis after this Grand Prix, or 1 at least. I think we've got a chassis in the works. I'm not sure. We'll check. So maybe we won't make any chassis at all. But if we do need to make any, we'll make them after the race. So we need new tyres for both drivers. We're going to go with those tyres for both drivers there. Okay. Kevin's going to have an extra set of brand new softs over Fernando for the race itself. And we're going to take the gamble. We're going to assume that that was the one and only mistake Fernando's going to make and that Kevin's not going to make any, and trust that we can get round without any incidents with just 1 run. It's a risk, but I want to make sure we have clear track. We've got to get that pole position. A 1:10.3 is the time to beat. We know we can beat that time. There goes the rest of the field. And there go our drivers. We'll ride on board with Kevin. He is the man in form at the moment. He's also going to be the last to cross the line as well. So the Ferraris provisionally have a front row lockout. Magnussen is now fastest in the first sector. And he goes faster than Alonso in the second sector as well. Looks like Magnussen's just going to edge it. Alonso with a 1:10.1 and a 1:10.0 for Magnussen. So we do get the 1-2. Not a huge difference in pace though between us and the Ferraris, as you can see. This is why taking pole position was going to be absolutely vital. Especially with the reduced DRS, it's going to make overtaking so hard here that we want to really try and control the pace of the Grand Prix. I am considering actually starting on hard
Drivers are
tyres.
strapping themselves in, ready for race day.
HAAS set themselves up for success during the race here with some spectacular qualifying lap times. It's going to be an exciting race for sure. We saw a solid qualifying performance from Ferrari, and they're sure to have their chance to push even further during the race. And the race will be taking place under blue skies. That means the teams should be able to apply their strategies without any added complications.
So as the drivers prepare to weave their way around the streets of Monaco, you have to think there'll be twists and turns aplenty.
Right, strategy time. Do I go with the hard to soft? I am seriously contemplating that. I'm also considering maybe doing a 2-stop, but with overtaking being so tough, that might not be the smartest move. I would normally go medium hard when I do this race, but I don't know. I think hard soft might be worth a try. We can certainly hold up all the cars behind us, ruin their pace on their faster tyres, seeing as we're starting at the front, and then try and exploit the softs at the end. What might be a better idea would be to go hard medium. Let me delete that off and just go new strategy, change that to a medium. Yeah, that's going to be quicker on paper by 6 seconds. Let's do that. Let's go hard mediums. How you doing, Anthony? Good to see you. You timed it well tonight. So yeah, going to take that controversial starting on hards strategy. Going to try and hold up the AI and trust that it's going to be hard for them to overtake with the changes with the new patch, or harder to overtake. We're going to take some fuel out of the car. There we go. We are going to go a little aggressive off the line, just to make sure we do get away in first and second and stay ahead. And we'll do that for a lap maybe, and then drop the pace down again. And then we'll just try and play spoiler for the rest of the field. And just really control the pace.
As the sun continues to shine, it seems like nothing can dampen the mood of excitement here at the track. There we see Kevin Magnussen. They're in pole position, and they've got to be happy about that. And here's Alonso, the team's second driver. After an impressive qualifying performance, they're starting today just behind pole. And we're just moments away now. We're here and the streets are abuzz at the Monaco Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
Alright, we get the strong starts. Did I see a Ferrari on hards as well? No, softs. I don't know why I thought I saw hards for a second there. Alonso has jumped ahead of Kevin and holds the position. Right, let's immediately slow things down now that we've got off the line and through the first couple of corners.
We should slow down. Copy that.
And we should be the only team on hards, I think. Oh no, there's a few at the back. Stroll's on hards. Vettel, S02, Norris and Latifi. So yeah, this is really going to hurt the Ferraris. Well, it's going to hurt Leclerc and Verstappen. They are the two fastest drivers in the field behind our guys, and they are on a much faster compounder tyre. But without the DRS being as powerful as it has been, are they going to be able to find their way through, or are they going to be stuck in this train, which is what I'm hoping. If we can completely ruin their afternoon by having them on their fastest tyre going at the slowest pace, that's going to make our afternoon just fantastic. And this is why I said we can definitely expect to see some lap traffic in this race. I mean, we are already 15 seconds ahead of Latifi after one lap. Right, let's keep an eye on Kevin as that Ferrari is swarming all over the back of him.
DRS enable.
Just trying to find a way through. There's so few opportunities to actually get the overtake done here. The other thing that we're going to try and do is even drop the pace a little bit. This is a brand new engine, so we want to protect it. But if we can keep the field relatively bunched up, or at least not spread out as much as it would normally be, then that's going to have a huge knock-on effect for the two soft tyre cars behind us, Leclerc and Verstappen, because they're going to come out in so much traffic. They have so many cars to have to get past, you know, when they come out of the pits. So we can keep the field bunched up a bit. It's going to give them a miserable afternoon. You can see we're getting some breakaways already. A few gaps opening up. So far, everything's going according to plan, but we're only 4 laps down. Long way to go yet, 78 lap race. So the places where we're going to be vulnerable is obviously the start-finish straight with the DRS zone. But if Magnussen can stay in Alonso's DRS about this sort of distance, then he will have room to close without getting held up by Alonso, which will keep the Ferraris behind, as we can see here. And then coming out of Sandervot and powering up the hill, this is a potential spot where we could get past. If a Ferrari can get side by side going through here into Casino, then that's potentially one overtaking spot. Coming out of here, everyone goes single file, pretty much all the way through until the end of the exit of the tunnel. That's the next real overtaking spot, and beyond that, unless someone has a mistake, it's very hard to get an overtake done until the end of the lap again. So there's only a couple of spots we have to be wary of. As Leclerc looking like he's going to try and line up a move down the inside. Can't get it done. Yeah, this could be a painful afternoon for Leclerc here. Norris screwed by a safety car in Brazil, looking at the podium end up 14th. Ooh, that's a big drop. He's still intent on getting rid of Piastri at the end of the season, and replacing him. Right, Magnussen just dropping off just a touch here. having to drive defensively from Leclerc. It has dropped him outside of DRS. I'm going to wait and see. I'm not going to push Magnussen back in just yet, but I'm going to wait and see whether or not Leclerc can try and make an overtake. And we'll be ready to react on the next lap if he can. Yeah, he's not closing up enough. It's a very short straight, so it's not even technically a straight. It's just one long continuous curve, very gradual. So it looks as though we are going to be okay. I could try and drop the pace down even more, but I don't want to take that risk. We're in a nice comfortable spot right now. I think if we drop it down even more, we are just asking to be overtaken, you know, somewhere on track. Maybe once the soft tyres start falling away significantly, then we might drop the pace down a little bit more. I'm hoping next year's car is going to be a beast. Who's your engine supplier at the moment? Did you stick with Mercedes or did you change up? And who are you planning on having next season? You're going to stick with Mercedes? Yeah, it's a solid engine. I mean, it's third in terms of pace, but you know, it's pretty reliable. It's got good thresholds. The wear rate on parts isn't too bad. I think overall, I know Ferrari is second in terms of power, but I think it's got a bit more balance to it than Red Bull. The wear rate on some of the Red Bull components is a bit too excessive for that extra 5% power that you get. But you know, the Renault engine's pretty good. I mean, we used Renault to power ourselves to the title in our Williams playthrough, and that is significantly cheaper. It's half the price of the Mercedes, and it's actually slightly faster, I think, than the Mercedes engine. It's certainly the most fuel efficient engine on the grid. Thought all the engines were 10 mil. No, it's 10 million for Renault, 15 million for Red Bull, and then it's 20 million for Ferrari and 20 million for Mercedes. And that suddenly made you think about changing to Renault. Okay, we are definitely having a concertina effect on the other front runners here, as you can see. All nose to tail from second down to sixth. And Hamilton's only another second or so behind. We have got a big gap opening up between Bottas and Stroll. Stroll, the first of the other hard runners, which is actually potentially going to hurt the strategy a little bit for us. But it may help us as well. I'm not quite sure yet. It is creating that big gap between, as I say, between Bottas and Stroll. What's the gap overall so far? Stroll is already nearly 19 seconds back. So, yeah, anyone who pits is going to come out probably ahead of Stroll and behind Bottas. So that's quite a few cars that are stuck at the moment. Ocon, Albon, they are definitely stuck. I would say Zhou's probably a little stuck as well. Oh yeah, Zhou's on soft. He's definitely stuck behind Stroll at the moment. How you doing, Mr. Water? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really affect your cost cap, but it does, I think, you know, affect your kind of starting balance. You know, obviously the more you spend on engines, the less you've got to spend on parts at the very beginning of the season. Or facilities, if you've got upgrades to do. Right, Leclerc is the closest he's been for a while. Again, he can't get that move done. And we've got him covered up the hill as well. Oh, he was thinking about making a move there through Casino. Shot that down. Yeah, Stroll being where he is on those hard tyres is definitely hurting the plan of, oh, here's a chance for Leclerc. And he does get side by side. Okay, can he get past us up the hill? No, he can't, but that was getting a little close there. His tyres are down to 58%. Had his tyres been 70%, I think he would probably have got us there. So we are starting to live a little dangerously. I was just about to say that, you know, I was considering to drop the pace down even more because of where Stroll is, but and the fact that he's holding up 3 more cars that could be getting in front of, that should be in front of these guys when they pit. But yeah, given that we almost got overtaken, I think dropping now would be an unnecessary risk, and we would definitely get overtaken. And it wouldn't really help us either, I don't think. Stroll's already 21 seconds back, so unless Stroll started to close up, then they would still come out probably in front of him anyway. I think we're probably looking at another 5-ish laps before the softs start to pit. Maybe a little bit more than that. Maybe they can go another 10 laps, but I don't think they can go that long. Somewhere around lap 21, 22, I think they'll start pitting. can see Verstappen actually coming under pressure from Sainz in the background there. So the soft tyres definitely starting to struggle. Those mediums have got a lot less wear on them, and they are now faster than the softs. I'm surprised at the pace difference though between Hamilton and Russell here. I mean, they're lapping at similar times now, but I mean, it's a big gap that's opened up between them, 4 seconds. I wonder if it's because Gasly is pressuring Russell. He's having to drive defensively to cover him off, and that's causing him to drop back a bit. It's certainly the reason why Alonso has been able to stretch the lead. It's now up to 2 seconds, 2.2 seconds. It has just been gradually increasing lap after lap. Kevin's doing a great job just blocking everyone behind him. But it is affecting his pace a little bit. Ironically, Alonso overtaking Magnussen into turn 1 could be the most crucial overtake of the entire race, because that could decide who's going to win. Had he not got through, then it would have been him that would be under pressure from Leclerc, and Kevin would probably be stretching that gap. Okay, so Leclerc's tyres now under 50%. So we are looking at a pit stop for Leclerc soon. We might also see some renewed attempts to overtake as he ups his pace, trying to find a way through before his pit stop. You can see again sights all over the back of Verstappen's gearbox as well. In fact, now that the tyres are dropping off, we're seeing a big traction difference coming out of the final turn there. I'm actually going to drop the pace down a little bit more.
We should slow down.
Copy that.
Yeah, and these are brand new engines that we got in the car. I do want to protect them as much as I can. Plus, if this lets Stroll start to close back up again, then maybe we can squeeze an extra couple of cars in front of Leclerc when he makes his stop. The only reason I'm able to get away with dropping the pace down again like this is because their tyres are now, you know, pretty heavily worn. If they weren't, I wouldn't dare drop the pace down to this lower setting. See, Stroll's doing 16.9s. That's pretty slow. Let's see what we do with a full lap of slow pace. .5 still. Stroll only just going through Raskas. Again, Leclerc looking a little bit feisty, going through Casino there. And Stroll did another 16.9. So yeah, even with this pace, we are not allowing that field to close up again, which is a little annoying, but at least this gives Bottas a chance to get back into contention again. He's doing 16.8s. He's still lapping slower. He's very off the pace. Yeah, he might still be running an older engine. What we have done is allowed Verstappen to close back up onto Leclerc again a little bit. So that might hopefully help take a bit of the sting out of Verstappen, out of Leclerc. Force him into a couple of defensive postures. Norris is still yet to improve. He's still stuck behind Tsunoda. I'm just looking. I don't know if anyone's actually done any overtaking at all yet, apart from the first lap. Looking at that, and I don't see anyone having actually moved up a place. So let me have a look. So Max got ahead of Carlos Sainz. Obviously, Fernando got ahead of Kevin. Russell got ahead of Gasly. Stroll got ahead of Ocon, Zhou got ahead of Vettel, Tsunoda got ahead of Norris, and I think that all happened on lap 1. I don't think anybody's managed to do any overtaking at all since then. So this new patch has certainly made Monaco more realistic in terms of making it a complete procession. And we are actually starting to come up on lap traffic already. Right, surely we're getting into pit stop territory now. 36% for Leclerc, 38% for Verstappen. No one blinks yet. They must be taking their tyres down and up to pretty much 30%. So the risk we're taking with this strategy is obviously we're going to have tyres that are going to last really well. We're going to be very fast at the end of the race, but given how hard it is for cars to overtake now, are we putting ourselves at a disadvantage? Because all these cars that are stopping early are going to be faster once they get onto fresh rubber than we're running. Obviously we can up our pace again a little bit, and we're probably going to have to. But are we going to be fast enough on those new softs at the end of the Grand Prix to actually get past? Are we going to be able to force the overtake? We could end up in the same position that Leclerc and Verstappen have been in, where we get stuck behind and can't pass, can't get the overtake done. Actually, we're going into mediums, aren't we? Well, I suppose we've extended these tyres. We could go for softs. But is it worth coming in for mediums? Getting onto faster, fresher rubber sooner? We'll have to keep an eye on the gaps. Also going to have to be very careful about how we push as well. And now you can really see the difference in tyres. Leclerc able to hang on to the back of Magnussen's DRS and slipstream. Verstappen dropping away again. Still no pit stops though. So Leclerc, given his tyres, he must be pitting at the end of this lap, surely. Take a look at the gap to Bottas. It is 22 seconds. Ooh. Ricciardo. Has he dropped back? Or has Bottas caught him? Bottas might have caught him. Because Bottas was isolated. I think Ricciardo just dropped off the back of Gasly and has fallen into the clutches of Bottas there. But those two are now borderline going to get, as to whether they're going to be in the way of the Ferrari here. And still no pit stop for Leclerc. What is going on here? It's now 29%. Are Ferrari trying to stretch these tyres and try and make sure that they can get out ahead of Ricciardo and Bottas? That's a risk. Leclerc has now dropped off the back of Magnussen. He's got no DRS and slipstream to help him. His pace this lap's going to be slow. Let's see, he did a 1:16.9 last lap. Bottas and Ricciardo are doing 17.6s. Bottas could be going quicker, I think. Verstappen 17.2. That's slowing down Sainz and Perez. Hamilton's going to start closing back in on them. Might even bring Russell back into play a little bit. As we start the lap traffic, we've got past Latifi. Surely he's going to pit now. No, he's staying out. His tyres are dead. He lost another 0.4 of a second on that lap. And his tyres are shot. And he's staying out. Oh, Sainz finally gets side by side with Verstappen. He's going to have better traction up the hill, surely. Oh, it's going to be close. He's just going to complete the move. So Sainz is going to get on the back of his teammate pretty quickly here. Here's Leclerc pitting. His tyres are at 25%. And now he finally pits. And Verstappen's coming in as well. Wow, they really took those down to the canvas. Oh, Ricciardo's pitted. What about Bottas? Where's he going to be? He's going to get out ahead of Bottas. Bottas is just coming across the line now.
So we need to push.
There he is.
Copy.
So Leclerc gets ahead of Bottas. Can Bottas get him up the hill? Not quite. But he is ahead of Verstappen. So Verstappen's afternoon has gone from bad to worse. Okay, what's the gap to Sainz? 5 seconds between Sainz and Magnussen. Is that gap getting bigger or smaller? We've just upped our pace a little bit. Obviously those mediums are starting to look a little worn themselves now. Let's see what Leclerc does when he gets a full lap on fresh rubber. So we did 1:15.9, 1:15.8. Sainz is at 16.3, so we are now faster than the cars that are chasing us again. What about Leclerc? Obviously this is not going to be a representative time this lap. 1:19, still pretty good. What can he do on full fresh rubber? He's probably going to be doing, you know, a mid to low 1:15. Don't think he'll be quite as quick as a 1:14.0. Well, he might be. Oh, sorry, 1:14.9 or 1:14.8. He might be, but. Right, 1:15.8 for Alonso, 15.9 for Magnussen, 16.3 for Sainz, so he's losing half a second a lap to the front runners. Let's see what Leclerc's time's going to be. That's a 14.9. Yeah, that is fast. That is almost well, it is a second faster than Magnussen. So this is the risk that we've taken, that we are going to get undercut by Leclerc. Verstappen's now got past Bottas, but that's cost him a fair bit of time. I'm going to increase the pace a little bit more. We've got a 23.5 second lead, which is just about enough to have a couple of seconds cushion. The only thing you'd like to see in the game is the ability to be headhunted by other teams. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to be able to change teams. Maybe that's something they'll add for the next game. It's not something they're going to add for this one, I don't think. One thing I would also like to see in the next iteration would be other teams approaching your drivers rather than you just approaching other teams' drivers. Be nice if your drivers were targeted to be signed by other teams, because then you would have that, you know, do I offer him a renewed contract with a bigger salary to try and keep him, or do I let him go and try and sign a replacement? Kind of dilemma. I would like to see that added to the game. Alright, Sainz is in the pits, so he didn't get many more laps. Perez and Hamilton also in the pits. So, hard tyres for all three drivers.
And Perez just pitted now.
And hard tyres for Gasly as well. No real surprises there. Bottas pits, having spoilt Verstappen's afternoon a little bit further. And now Albon pits as well. Oh, and Stroll's got through. Oh, that's going to annoy Gasly. Oh, and what's going to annoy him, Ocon, even more is that he's just... Well, actually, no, Ocon's going to make a pit stop, hasn't he? So that's okay. Yeah, Gasly getting out ahead of his teammate is good for him. He's going to have more pace. It's probably going to be good for Ocon as well if he can hang with his teammate. Alright, we are still losing some time to Leclerc, but not as much now. We have picked up our pace by about half a second a lap. Obviously that's the difference between our tyres and pretty much new tyres. Leclerc onto the back of Russell, who is yet to stop. So this could also help us. If Russell can keep Leclerc behind him for a few laps, slow him down a bit, we can eke out a little bit more time over Leclerc here. But my guess is that given everyone else has been making stops, Russell may well be stopping at the end of this lap. I hope he goes another few laps. If he can go 5 more laps, that would be awesome. Russell does have the tyre wear stats to stretch those tyres. He's got very good smoothness. But he's pitting. Damn it. I was worried that was going to happen. Well, at least he did hold up Leclerc a little bit. Yeah, there you see. Cost him nearly 2 seconds that lap. So as things stand, Magnussen is probably going to end up behind Leclerc. Alonso is going to be just about ahead of Leclerc if they were to stop right now. I'm still considering going back to the original plan and going on to softs. I think the extra grip might be better, because we are going to end up with both our cars behind Leclerc after the pit stop. I think. I can't see us avoiding that. We might even be behind Verstappen as well. In fact, we probably will be behind Verstappen. I don't know about Sainz and Sainz. that is also a possibility. So we're going to have to fight through at least 2 cars, probably, possibly 3 or even 4. Soft tyres would make that easier, but they will go off quicker. And we could yet see a safety car as well. And that could really shake things up. If we get a safety car now, we can immediately pit for mediums, stay ahead of Leclerc, and that's, the race 1 and 2 guaranteed. We have a window of maybe another 10 laps for that safety car to come to allow us to pit and stay in the lead. You can see we are giving up 0.8 of a second at the moment. Anytime Leclerc gets held up by traffic is going to be good. We've got a big bunch of traffic in front of us, actually. See, Alonso has got Zhou, Ocon, Albon. I think in front. Actually, it's not quite as bad as I thought it was, but we've got Zhou in front, then Ocon, then Albon and Vettel a little bit further up the road. It was going through the chicane, through the hairpin that the chasing pack are going through right now made it look like they were closer. Last thing we want is to get stuck behind battling cars, a big train of traffic. What's the gap between our two drivers? 3.7 seconds. We could potentially double stack with a gap like that. I think that's just about enough time to pull off a quick double stack without holding up Magnussen. I think Latifi's about to be lapped by Bottas. He is, so Latifi is not too far away from going 2 laps down here. You can see where he is compared to where we are. There's not a large amount of traffic there, or a track between the two cars. He is a long way off the back. He's 20 seconds off the back of Norris, who still hasn't been able to get past Tsunoda. Obviously he's dropped back a bit because he's been getting lapped, but yeah, Norris having a horrible afternoon. He got overtaken very quickly at the start and has just not made any progress since. Horrible afternoon for him. Leclerc now just 16.7 seconds behind, so we're definitely dropping both cars behind him. We should get both cars out ahead of Verstappen. Magnussen's a bit touch and go with Verstappen right now. Take a look at my engine wear. So we're taking 2% off the engine so far. There's no real close battles here until we get down to Gasly, and then we've got this train here of Gasly, Stroll, Russell, who's just stuck behind Stroll. Stroll ruining people's afternoons left, right and centre here. And then Ricciardo. These three here, that's the closest fight we've got on the track right now. If Stroll's going for mediums, he's going to pit soon. If he's going for softs, he's going for a while yet, which is going to really ruin Russell's race. He's swarming all over the back of him, but he just can't find a way through. We are still getting a fuel warning. We're not saving so much now because we're pushing a little bit faster. Let's go ahead and conserve some fuel now.
And we need some lift and coast for tire temps.
Copy that.
This is going to put us further behind Leclerc, but I'm not too worried about that because we were going to be behind anyway and we'll catch him really quickly. But I am concerned that this might drop us behind Verstappen. But the last thing I want is to be coming out on fresh tyres and then having to fuel save. Or at least do a lot of fuel saving. We'll do a little bit now and then we'll up the pace slightly again. And once again, Bottas now sneaking up on the back of Ricciardo because Ricciardo is stuck behind Stroll. Okay, 19.5 seconds, the gap to Verstappen from Magnussen. That is risky. We're getting close to the pit window for mediums. They're on 82% on their tyre wear. I think I have to go for the gamble and go for softs here. Try and force a way through as quickly as we can past Verstappen, and then just speed up to the back of Leclerc, and then force our way through past Leclerc as well. So we're looking at 7 more laps until we pit.
No lift off needed. You are doing a good job.
Copy that.
And Bottas has now joined this this train. Look how quickly Gasly's pulled away from Stroll. Look, he's now 7 seconds clear of this. So he found his way through and has now just sprinted off into the distance. This is how much Russell is getting held up here. That in just a few laps, Stroll has cost Russell 7 seconds to Gasly. And there we go, he finally forces his way through. He's going to have better traction up the hill. And completes the move. So we should see Russell pull away from Stroll very quickly now. There's the difference in tyres. 87 against 49. And he's opened up a second gap already. Yeah, Magnussen's definitely going to get overtaken by Verstappen. He's now only 15 seconds. He's going to get overtaken by Sainz as well. So we're going to have to really hope that those soft tyres can do the business for us. Oh, that was an awkward place to pass. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do there, and that cost everyone involved a huge amount of time. As Norris gets lapped by a bunch of cars. Yeah, we are getting hunted down very fast here. But I knew going into it that, you know, running this strategy would have this risk. I didn't know how many positions we would lose under the pits, but we're safe against Perez. But we are going to get passed by everyone else. We're going to get passed by Leclerc, Verstappen and Sainz. So there's 3 fast cars we are going to have to force our way past. Alonso, with his 4.5 second gap, is probably safe to Sainz. But Magnussen's definitely come out behind him. As we enter the pit windows, let's see what times are we doing. We're doing 15.5s. They're doing a new fastest lap for Leclerc. He's got the scent. He's on the hunt. Yeah, they're lapping a second a lap faster than us, the 2 Ferraris. Verstappen not quite as quick. Even Perez is lapping faster than us now. But we have had quite a bit of traffic that we've had to fight our way through. We've now got clear track in front of us. Hopefully the AI will get held up a little bit by some of these cars. Stroll still not pitting, and he's doing 18.9s. Oh no, that was the lap when they had that kerfuffle trying to get past Norris. There we go, a 17.5. Ricardo has finally got past him as well. I've just noticed that. So Ricardo should see an improvement in his lap times. And you can see the difference. Stroll is 2 seconds a lap slower than Russell. That's how much Russell was being held up there. This is looking like a comfortable win for Fernando over Kevin. Obviously, it's not necessarily a comfortable win for the race. We've got to fight our way through some faster cars once we make our stop. Two more laps. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give Kevin the instruction to box a lap earlier.
Box now, box.
He is more at risk.
Copy, box.
And we definitely want to get the pit stop out of the way before we hit that big snake of traffic that's coming up to the end of the lap there. That is Stroll. Stroll, Bottas, Albon, Ocon. And one of the Williams as well, hanging on the back. So there we go, Magnussen into the pits. Okay, so we are right behind Sainz and we are going to be clear of Perez. That's good. If we'd left it too much longer, then we would have potentially run the risk.
We should slow down.
Copy that.
So we should have a big pace advantage. We're going to, on these tyres, we're going to run low until we get up to the back of someone. Then we're going to go aggressive to get past and then go back to slower again. Try and just prolong the life of the tyres as much as possible. Can we get Sainz?
Okay, pit lane.
Or are we at risk to Sainz here? Oh, 3 seconds. That's a slow stop. We're going to get passed by Sainz. There goes Verstappen. There goes Sainz. But we're not too far behind. In fact, we're straight onto the back of Sainz here. Okay, we're going to wait for the DRS straight. See Magnussen purple in the first sector there. sights doesn't have DRS. We're going to go up into overtake now. We should hopefully be able to push through here. Maybe up the hill.
At the moment, we are the fastest car on track.
No, not yet. Okay, so let's go. Oh. No, not quite. Make sure we stay close, but without overly burning the tyres. Maybe we can get him down into the chicane. So this is where we see whether our strategy is going to backfire on us horribly. It's not looking good so far. Oh, we've got trouble up ahead and a back marker. Go on, squeeze through, squeeze through. No. Magnussen's already right behind us. Alright, well, we're not getting in this lap.
And we need some lift and coast.
Yeah, copy.
Start to close that gap back up. Verstappen just ahead. Really going to go for it on this lap. There we go, that's the move.
HAAS with an overtake.
Right, let's bring Magnussen back into play.
No lift off needed. You are doing a good job.
Copy.
There we go, that's the fuel sorted. And now Kevin, right on the back of sights.
And push.
Copy.
Let's see if we can get him into the chicane. Nope. Let's try and make sure Sights does not get DRS. There we go.
Just look after these tires.
Copy that.
And straight through. No fuss, no drama at all.
And you've done a good job. Well done. Lift off needed.
Copy that.
Alright, we've still got plenty of time to hunt down Leclerc. There we go. Same move as he did on Sights there.
Is that a new race position for HAAS?
Now we've got to do that all over again with Kevin.
And charge button on.
Copy that.
So deployed.
Copy that.
And once again, Kevin going around the opposite side. Just like he did with Sights. Excellent stuff. Right, that's another move done.
Keep working like this. And charge button on. Charge button on.
Copy that.
So, 20 laps to go. Just recharging the batteries. And then we can start closing Leclerc down at a bit more comfortable pace. Fuel issues are sorted, so we won't have to worry about that. I am tempted to actually put team orders in place. I don't want to risk my drivers hitting each other here. We've worked too long and hard in this race for them to collide and hurt each other's chances, so we're going to tell Magnussen to stay behind. And such is the grip and pace of these soft tyres, you can see even while we're charging up our batteries, we're still pulling away from Verstappen and closing down Charles Leclerc. And there he is, actually just disappearing around the corner. Now this is interesting actually, is that Stroll? It is. Stroll, is he going to try and unlap himself? This is, it's hard to see a driver being able to unlap themselves on this circuit because of the nature of this circuit. I've yet to see someone unlap themselves under normal racing conditions, but I have seen unlapping with a safety car earlier today. Saw that in my Miami race on my McLaren file. So it is definitely something that can be done now. But I wonder if Stroll will demonstrate enough pace to be able to actually unlap himself. Because that's what it said in the patch notes, is that under racing conditions, cars will be allowed to unlap themselves if they demonstrate sufficient pace. And right now, those soft tyres should theoretically give them sufficient pace. Trouble is, you know, it's not the fastest car, the AlphaTauri, and the Ferrari is one of the fastest cars. So, you know, how sufficient is sufficient pace? We're going to stay focused on Stroll for a couple more laps. We've got ourselves charged up, we're looking after the tyres, and we're gradually closing down Leclerc. I want to see if we can actually witness someone unlapping themselves in racing conditions. I mean, he's just all over the back of at the moment. But Sainz is all over the back of Verstappen, so is that going to cancel out any chance that Stroll has here? I think it probably will. Oh, that's a big bunch of traffic that we're coming up to. Leclerc's finally got himself through, but it's cost him a lot of time getting through that traffic. He must have caught it at the wrong place. We're just coming onto the back of it now. It's all going to dive out the way over the next couple of straights. Oh, they're battling. No wonder Leclerc lost time. There is Leclerc, just going round the corner there. So Ocon jumps out the way. Both cars get through. Up next is Alex Albon. And that's where the time gets lost. We saw that earlier in the race with Norris getting lapped. Yeah, look at that. That's cost Magnussen nearly 3 seconds. There he is. He's through now. Back to Stroll. Oh, Stroll's actually been lapped by his teammate. Albon fell back into the clutches and is now stuck behind his... Oh, maybe you can see him get unlapped by Or is that... No, that's her position. That's not lapping, that's her position. Okay, that's going to... well, if he can't get past his own teammate, he's got no chance of lapping himself. Yeah, the unlapping chance is gone. The other cars are going to pull away now. Alright, back to the front. Let's keep an eye on Alonso, starting to close down the gap to Leclerc again, having fought his way through that traffic. There's Magnussen 3 seconds further back. As we swoop around Bottas going through the tunnel there. And now we're lapping about 6 to 8 tenths of a second faster than Leclerc. He did a 1:15 dead. That's impressive. What's the tyre situation like? 54%. So we are losing the advantage of these tyres at a much faster rate than Leclerc is. Obviously we've had to push them in places to make the overtakes, but we are still closing in. We do still have a pace advantage on this rubber, and we will do for a little while yet. Leclerc does a 15.0, and we do a 14.2. So again, 8 tenths of a second faster that lap. Gap is coming down fast now. Magnussen with a 14.4. Okay, we're going to be in striking range in 2 laps. There we go, just 1.2 seconds to gap now. Magnussen has closed up a little bit as well. Can we get the overtake done this lap? Are we a little bit too far back? We are into Sandoval. What about up the hill? No, we're not finding a way through there. Let's try and get him here. Oh, I thought we had him for a second then. Maybe on the braking. Into the chicane, we got him. What a move from Alonso there. Straight through. Now I'm going to push for a lap to break the DRS. Which Leclerc has got this lap, but won't next. Right, Magnussen up next. He's running out of laps, so we're going to up his pace a little bit.
So we need to push.
Actually, let's do it with the fuel instead.
We should slow down.
Copy.
And a 1:12.1, that's a mighty lap for Alonso. Pulled out about 4 seconds on that lap there, 3.5, 4 seconds. Going to just ease off now, protect the car for the rest of the race. Magnussen almost in striking distance. Impressive overtake from Fernando. Yeah, it's tough to get overtakes on this track going into the chicane. It is doable, as you saw, but it's one of the harder places to try and force the overtake. The easiest places are the first straight into Sandoval and then coming out of Sandoval up the hill into Casino. They're the two best places to try and overtake. Right, 7 more laps. Magnussen now into DRS range. Start to sneak him up onto the back of Leclerc here.
Got it.
Let's see if he can do what Alonso did. There's a lapped car in front. It's a McLaren. Oh, there's a little bit of lap traffic in front actually. No, the other car's Alonso who's crawling around right now. That's enough battery. There we go. And it's enough fuel saved.
Just look after these tires.
Copy.
Trying to go up the inside. Can't make the
And
move.
we'll need lift off.
Copy that.
We're going to have to wait another lap
And charge button on.
with that
charge
traffic
button
in the way.
on.
Copy.
Charge button off.
Copy.
Ah, stuck behind the Williams. There we go, out of the way. Still got the McLaren in the way as well. At least we get through nice and cleanly with no major time loss this time. No more traffic to deal with, so just Leclerc to get through. And now our tyre advantage is considerably smaller. We do still have an advantage. These are faster, grippier tyres. We've got a faster car in the corners. Alright, here we go. Got to get this overtake done here.
DRS.
Copy.
Alright, we've got him. Leclerc goes wide, very quickly, and we just straight down the inside. And there we go. That is the move done. Just protect the rest of the tyres. We'll use a little bit of battery to pull away.
HAAS with an overtake.
So there we go, we made the strategy work. We cut it a little bit closer than I would have liked. Just 4 laps to go when we made the pass with Magnussen to get back into second, but we pulled it off. And we're starting to have a couple of doubts over those last couple of laps there. certainly wasn't the comfortable race that we've had at previous rounds, but that's the first time I've tried to do that strategy. Harder because of the patch, and the reduction in the power of DRS. It made it much harder to get those overtakes done. That's why you barely saw me use the battery at all throughout the race. I was saving it for when we had those overtake opportunities where we would need to be able to punch through as quickly as we could. Yeah, Monaco is definitely harder to overtake it now. I mean, we've seen that. How long did we see cars stuck behind Stroll earlier on? It ruined the races of quite a few drivers who were stuck behind him for so long, and just took them completely out of contention for the points. We saw how much Russell was being held up when he was stuck behind him after he made his pit stop. So I knew it would definitely be a bit of a spoiler tactic at the start. It works much better as a spoiler tactic when you've got a driver a few rows down on the starting grid, and you want to help out the driver who's further ahead. It's as we did in our Williams playthrough with Porsche and Gasly. It worked out beautifully. Just unfortunate that we couldn't maximise the points return on that one with the incidents in the end of the race. But yeah, from the front, that's the first time I've ever tried to go hard soft from the front of the grid. And yeah, definitely harder to overtake. It helped us at the start, but it certainly made it harder at the end of the race there, trying to get past those cars. As we ride on board with Fernando, who is going to halt Magnussen's momentum. Fastest lap and the win. Kevin's going to take the pole, so it's not a clean sweep for Alonso this weekend. But it is going to be another 1-2. Leclerc is going to return to the podium and get back into third again after failing to do so last time out. So that's 6 third places out of 7 races for Leclerc. That's pretty good consistency. He's definitely our closest challenger in terms of the podium fight this season and the Drivers' Championship.
Alonso has done it! Fernando Alonso is today's Grand Prix winner. Let's take a closer look. And Fernando Alonso comes home first.
After that performance, there's no doubt that they deserve their spot at the top of the podium.
The old man has still got it. That's win number 3 for him this season.
A few more points.
You've done a good job.
Really deserves a win, driven impeccably. Yeah, he's been flawless this race. I was a little concerned when he had that accident in qualifying and damaged his chassis, but yeah, come race day, he was absolutely flawless. And as predicted, he won the race in the first turn. getting past Kevin in turn 1 on the first lap is what's won him the race.
Copy. Pit entry.
What a flawless weekend here from Fernando Alonso. His team must be proud. This podium is a brilliant reward for everyone's hard work over the weekend. And the talented veteran rounds off another great drive, adding to his impressive F1 podium tally. Alongside them, of course, the other two talented drivers completing today's podium lineup. HAAS there having a very successful day at the races.
That's right, the team really deserves to celebrate this success before looking ahead to the next race.
After an intense weekend, the team ends in first place in the constructor standings.
Next time, the teams will be racing through the streets of another city. Join us in Baku on the shores of the Caspian Sea for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
There we go. What a great race for Fernando. Absolutely flawless. And so that overtake into turn 1 on the first lap moved him up into P1, and he never looked likely to get past for the lead after that. Controlled the race, and obviously on the pit stops fought our way through the traffic, through Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen, and then that beautiful overtake on Charles Leclerc to take the lead again. Kevin did well to fight his way through. I mean, he was arguably quicker at fighting his way through Sainz and Verstappen. But just didn't have the same pace this weekend when it came to the race itself. Into the driver's standings, that does close the gap back down to just 4 points between our two drivers. Kevin still has the advantage. He's got 4 wins and 2 fastest laps to 3 wins and 5 fastest laps from Fernando. Just 4 points between them. Leclerc hits 100 points with his 6th third place in 7 races. He is dropping back, but still comfortably ahead of everybody else. Max moves ahead of Carlos Sainz by a point, thanks to their finishing positions there. Hamilton gets some more points. Perez closes him down a little bit. Russell, a disappointing race for him. He did have a poor start, dropped back off the train, and then got held up very badly in the end by Lance Stroll for a long time. Lost a lot of ground to Gasly, who closed him down a little bit by finishing ahead of him. Ricciardo picks up another point for McLaren. Into the constructors, another maximum. There you can see 7 wins, 7 podiums, 7 fastest laps, 7 poles from 7 races, 7 1-2 finishes as well. We are absolutely steamrolling the competition here. Ferrari extend their gap to Red Bull to 57 points with their result there. McLaren have pulled away a little bit from Alpha, but they are dropping away from Alpine. And Mercedes, well, they're kind of in no man's land in 4th, really. They're not on the pace of Red Bull, but they're comfortably faster than Alpine. I think 4th is the best they're going to get this season. An exceptional race, even though it was a very quiet race. You can see only 4 successful overtakes in the entire race for Fernando Alonso there. Lapped cars obviously do not count as overtakes. So that was Magnussen in turn 1, and then overtaking Sainz, Verstappen, and then Leclerc once he'd made his pit stop. That was it. 1 successful defence. That's the only time he was really threatened. 3 failed overtakes, 1 failed defence, no failed defence. If we take a look at Kevin, there you can see 3 successful overtakes for Kevin, 11 successful defences. He was a bit more robust against Charles Leclerc at the early stint of the Grand Prix. 3 failed overtakes, 1 failed defence. Does pick up a development point though, but a low points haul for both drivers. Very uneventful race in a lot of respects. Again, it's Monaco. You don't expect huge scores here. More points for Logan. That will hopefully get him a little bit closer to another development point. Kevin gets his usual 440,000 bonus. Our sponsors are nice and happy. We achieved our incentives, and we also achieved all 3 of the guarantees we put down as well. So we come out with an extra 5 million after deductions. Right, we have a 2-week gap until the next Grand Prix. What do we have coming up in terms of upgrades? Chassis and side pods. So we only have 2 chassis, but we're not going to make any new ones because we're going to emergency manufacture 3 new ones on the day of the Baku Grand Prix and stick those straight on the car. Let's go ahead and allocate Kevin's point. Going to boost his cornering. Logan, 11 points short of getting a new development point. He'll get that before we get to Baku. How far away is Alonso? Oh, Alonso's only 36 points off. Okay, so he needs to he needs a little bit more. We're going to boost his cornering. That's his weakest pace stat, his cornering. Our staff, no points picked up for them. Resta will get a new point before the next Grand Prix. That's good because we can then apply that before we do the next development project. Same for Jared. Pedro and Javier still a little way off their points as well. Our pit crew is 58. You know, they are slowly getting better, but yeah, still a long way off being a good pit crew at the moment. So our inbox, a breakdown there telling us to improve the engine cooling. That's the weakest stat of our car. It's not that weak, it's still 5th best on the grid. Board very happy with a 1-2, as they should be. And then there's the race breakdown from Michael Loom. Our team hub improves, so that will boost our ability gain for our drivers. There you can see where we are short on parts. I'm actually going to go ahead because we haven't got a new underfloor on the way. I'm going to go ahead and manufacture a new one just so we've got an extra spare. Oh, we have got an underfloor. Oh, damn it. Well, I could cancel the project, but I've already paid for the one that's coming, so I won't get my money back. So I may as well, because they've technically now started working on that one. So may as well go ahead and let them build it now. I didn't think we had an underfloor on the way. Okay, no biggie. There is the underfloor. Seeing as we don't actually have a rear wing in the works, which I thought we did, I am going to go ahead and manufacture a new rear wing, so we've got 2 spares. This again one of those circuits where if we spin we could quite easily break the rear wing in practice. The wall's very close to the edge of the circuit here at Baku, so we'll go ahead and just take that as a preemptive measure. Weather center is now in poor condition, but it is going through an upgrade. Nothing to worry about there. We've got 12 million in the bank. I would love to go ahead and drop an upgrade on our CFD simulator or our wind tunnel, but I need the money for the parts that are about to be available, so I can't do that yet. And there you can see side pods tomorrow and chassis the day after. So let's go ahead and emergency manufacture 2 new side pods. There you can see the improvement that they'll make to the car. Not massive, but this was never going to be huge improvements. It was always going to be a minor upgrade here. So we are going to emergency manufacture 2 of those. Let's go ahead and fit those to the car now. So that is actually going to improve our top speed. It's going to make us the fastest car in a straight line, assuming no one else has brought an upgrade to Baku. So that's good. Especially for this circuit with so many, long straights flat out. Let's skip ahead one more day. There's our chassis design. We're going to emergency manufacture 3 of these, so we've got 1 spare. And then, because I'm not going to do another chassis for a while, I'm going to go ahead and manufacture 2 normal chassis as well. Right, let's fit those chassis to the car, see what they do. So that's going to further increase our straight line speed, which is excellent. It's going to give us a bit of a boost to medium and high speed, improve our DRS top speed. Dirty air performance is going to improve slightly, and importantly, it's going to improve our engine cooling as well, which has been bumped down a little bit, I think. So there we go. That's the new chassis fitted. Now we've got 2 slots that we can design new parts with. Let's have a look. Do we have hours available? Let's see, checklist. What's going to be affected by research? I don't think the underfloor is going to be affected. Front and rear wings are both going to be affected next season. High-speed downforce changes. Okay. Do we have hours available? Not for another 10 days. So, because I don't want to go too heavy on big projects if we've got new hours coming up, let's go with another cooling upgrade for our brakes. As a minor upgrade. We've got 10 engineers available. We'll do 5 and we'll rush that one. So it's going to take 15 days. So we're not losing too much time once the hours go live in 10 days time before we can actually start using them. And then for the other project, I don't really want to spend a lot of money on a new rear wing until I've got some hours to put into it. We're already on our 4th set of side pods. I don't really want to do another chassis. Maybe another front wing. Or maybe I could start a research project on the front wing or rear wing. how long would a front wing take? It would take a while, I would imagine. So my dirty air performance is stronger than the rest of the field, so I'm going to want good airflow at the front to boost my normal cornering speed and my top speed slightly. What about airflow sensitivity? I'll leave that about there. So there's a minor gain. Best I could get that would be 37 days, which would be in time for France. That's if I rush it. If I go intense, we're looking at 55 days, which is in time for Spa. Oh, excuse me. I think given that we've got hours coming, I don't want to commit so many engineers to a long-term project without hours. So I might just go ahead and do another side pod. If we go for another optimized cooling and then boost our drag reduction a little bit to there. We go 5 days and rush that, that's 23 days. That's a bit more acceptable. So we'll do that. If you're standing still, you're actually going backwards, so we don't want to just not do anything at all. We've still got plenty of cost cap balance left. You know, these things like chassis, suspensions and side pods are quite cheap to work on. Front wings are a bit more expensive, same with rear wings. Underfloor's very expensive, especially when we start pumping the hours into them. And if we go intense, we're talking about 4 million for a new underfloor project, and close to that for the rear wing and front wing as well. So how much money do we have left? 9.5 mil. Let's take a look at facilities. It's going to cost 12 mil to do a wind tunnel upgrade. Staff facilities are looking absolutely fine. Don't have to worry about those for a while. There's nothing in here, as I said, that we want to really work on. How close is the helipad? It's a little way off, but it won't be that expensive to refurb. It'll be, what, 150 grand to refurb it. That'll be cheap. So no concerns over here. How much is an upgrade? It's 475. I'm going to hang on to that. We have still got that underfloor project going through. That is how far away? 18 days away for the underfloor and 23 days for the side pod. So we're going to get 3 projects all coming through at very similar times. We'll definitely be able to start focusing some resources there. We can start look at doing some research. I think we'll probably go with a rear wing and pump 6 engineers into that and try and get a really good rear wing in time for Spa, and then we can look at doing a research project on a couple of other parts perhaps. And then if we've got the money, we'll, you know, after this race, which we should do, we'll go ahead and upgrade our wind tunnel after Baku. So there we go. That is the end of tonight's stream. Another dominant, well, we could have been a lot further ahead if we'd been more aggressive with our pace at the start of the Grand Prix. We deliberately tried to control it to protect the engine because we want to use as few engines as possible this year, just to see if we can actually get through the season without taking any penalties. But another 1-2, another maximum points haul. Fernando gets his third win, closing the gap on teammate Kevin to just 4 points. We are absolutely running away with the Constructors' Championship, as you can see. We are clear by 142 points now, a monstrous gap after just 7 races. So next week we will head to Baku once we come back on Wednesday for some more HAAS. Tomorrow I will be doing a single race for Aston Martin with our rookie team playthrough. So that'll start again at 10 p.m. That's going to be the new sort of streaming time going forward. It's 10 p.m. And then Monday and Tuesday we are also going to do some more Aston Martin, or at least Monday. I might start HAAS on Tuesday. I'll decide that on Monday night as to whether we're going to do HAAS Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whether we do Aston Martin Monday, Tuesday, and then HAAS Wednesday, Thursday. And then obviously we'll be back with Aston Martin next Friday. And the week after that, we will be returning with Williams as well for Season 3 and our brand new driver lineup with George Russell returning to Williams. So until then, thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will be back very soon.